Now joining us on the line is General Jack Keane, a four-star general, U.S. Army retired, and by the way, the recipient soon of the 2015 prestigious Bradley Prize. Going to have a big ceremony down there at the Kennedy Center. General Keane, thank you so much for joining us. It is a real honor to have you on the show.
Delighted to be here.
All right, we want to start off by talking about Iraq and what happened in Ramadi. We are told that Ramadi has fallen. ISIS is in control. The black flag of ISIS is now flying over that city. What happened, and is this a permanent development, or do you think it's possible that the Iraqi forces, with United States help, and some other folks who are there as well, might be able to retake Ramadi?
We'll never be able to regain the territory that we've lost in Ramadi and Anbar province and also in Mosul, unless we change our strategy. It is fundamentally flawed. We don't have enough commitment and resolve, and we're not providing enough resources. I call it the president is pursuing a not enough strategy. We don't have enough effective air power. We don't have enough trainers and advisors on the ground with fighting forces, not sitting in brigade headquarters. We have no forward air controllers on the ground to make the ground forces, the Iraqi ground forces, more effective. We don't have enough arms and equipment flowing to the Kurds and the Sunni tribes. We don't have enough Apaches. I could go on with this list. And given the success of the raid we saw over the weekend, the military has been asking for some time to conduct these raids rather routinely at night against the ISIS leadership in Iraq and in Syria, and those raids have been denied except for this exception and one or two others.
Yeah.
So we got to reassess the strategy. Bush did this in 2006 when the strategy obviously wasn't succeeding. Any American picking up a newspaper or watching TV or listening to your radio show would know that there's something fundamentally wrong in Iraq, given the fact that the United States clearly wants to help the Iraqis retake the territory lost. We want to destroy ISIS, as the president has said, but the facts are the strategy and the plans to do that are totally inadequate.
And I guess what is troubling to so many Americans is that we committed a lot of blood and treasure to fix the situation in Iraq, and then we pull out and leave a vacuum, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. We had the strategy wrong there for 3 years. In fighting the counterinsurgency, we hadn't fought since we had fought one in Vietnam. And by the way, we did defeat the insurgency in Vietnam. Most people forget it, but we did ultimately, lose the war because Congress pulled the plug on supporting the South Vietnamese. But here we are. Here we had a failed strategy for 3 years in Iraq, and we changed that strategy. We need to reassess and reevaluate. This is not as complicated as we're making it out to be. I think one of the problems the president has, he's paralyzed by this clear fear that somehow added commitment will lead to a protracted long war involving hundreds of thousands of American troops. There is nobody advocating such a thing. But we are advocating providing the Iraqi forces, the Sunnis, the Iraqi security forces, and the Kurds with the right amount of equipment, arms, and the right amount of trainers, and then use them appropriately so they could be considerably more effective. And then to take these direct action forces, like you saw with Delta and SEAL Team 6 and others like them, and put pressure on the Iraqi leaders, the ISIS leaders, every single night, as we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. We are, on average, conducted 8 or 10 of those every night. And we do this every few months, and it clearly is not enough pressure.
If there is an increase in our presence there, though, we now face the specter of U.S. troops either increasing, as you suggest, their role in advising and coordinating, or even potentially fighting alongside these Iranian Quds forces, these Shiite warriors who actually were part of the engineered attacks against our forces during the Iraq invasion. How do we resolve that, General?
Well, it's clearly not a satisfactory situation.
Yeah.
The Shia militia came into Crit. They took 5,000 casualties. I mean, they were stopped cold, to tell you the truth. And the thing that turned the tide there is we put some air power into Crit, and ISIS is supposed to stay in there and fighting. They left to fight another day, and you're seeing the other day in front of us. Now we're bringing Shia militia in because Abadi, the prime minister, he believes no other choice. And he's looking at that hand he's got better than I am, and he's probably right. So certainly bringing Iranian-backed Shia militia into the Sunni territory there to help deal with this situation is absolutely not any long-term solution. This is, as you know, Ramadi, capital of the Sunni province, the largest province in Iraq. This is the Sunni heartland, and they're not going to stand for a Shia militia running roughshod over that territory. So the facts are, this is an emergency situation. He can use them, but that is not the long-term solution here. And we all know what the solution is. We need to arm and equip and train the Sunni tribes. Listen, they are so frustrated. Can you imagine if you're a tribe member who fought alongside the United States against the Al-Qaeda in 2007 and 2008, and you're sitting out there, and your government, the Abadi government, cannot protect you. And they watch the Iraqi security forces leave that area and actually flee with equipment that we've given them. They are got to be so frustrated by that, and they know full well that the United States support isn't strong enough. We're going to have to commit more, and most importantly, we're going to have to find our will.
Well, General Jack Keane, U.S. Army retired, greatly appreciate you coming here to give us your perspective, and you're dead on, I think. We hope you'll come back and join us again.
Sure, anytime.
Yeah, and congratulations on the Bradley Prize. Yeah. Again, the Bradley Prize over at...
thanks so much. You kind of mentioned that. Appreciate it.
June 3rd at the Kennedy Center, and 4 stars on the shoulders, and then the Bradley Prize. Not a bad career there for General Keane. And, appearing here on Mornings on the Mall.
Well, that's the feather in his cap.
The cherry on top,
that's
as it were.
Right.
It's what he'll tell his grandchildren about.